Hey, what's up guys? Mike Red Fox. In this video, we're going to do a 3070 Ti build in this Mineshop server case. So big thank you to Guntus over at Mineshop.eu for sending this over to me. Links to Mineshop are down in the description below. They have server cases like this and a lot of other things for mining. They've been around for quite a while. So big thank you to him for sending this over. So this is the Mineshop MineBox 12. So it has slots for 12 GPUs, but it's a pretty small case. We're going to take a look at that in a second. One thing you probably noticed already is that the fans are on the outside. I did that. I moved them to the outside to give me a little more room on the inside. So let's take this panel off and take a look inside this MineBox 12. So you can see it's got a power supply integrated here. It's a 2500 watt platinum power supply. And you're looking at this On the mining motherboard, and you can see it's got the 12 slots, but they're really, really narrow. So maybe if you have some like A2000s, A4000s, this would be great. Some older GPUs that are really slim, or even some like lower tier 6600s or 6600 XTs would work well in here. But for my purposes today, I want to put some 3070 Ti's, and I'm going to do 6 and just go every other slot. It's got its processor, RAM tucked under there, and then it's got its MSATA hard drive right in here. So the reason I had to move the fans to the outside is give me a little more space so I can get some of these longer GPUs in here. The other thing that is worth noting here is it has all the cables built into the power supply. But the one thing that you'll notice, which I didn't until I started filming this video, is that there are 6-pin and 8-pin. So they're not dual 8-pin, which is going to be a problem because these GPUs I'm going to use are dual 8-pin. But it's okay. I'm just going to use one end of a splitter to come off of here to go to those GPUs, because the 6-pin still carries the same amount of power as an 8-pin. So it'll still be very, very safe. So let me talk to you about the GPUs that I'm going to use. So I have these 3070 Ti's. I've had them for a little bit, and I got 2 of each. These are Zotac. You can see right there, it's a Zotac 3070 Ti. And yes, this one, I don't know if you just caught that, does have one of the fan blades broken. You can see right on the bottom there. That was my mistake. Still works okay. So we got 2 of those, and then I have these MSI. These are big cards. MSI 3070 Ti's, got 2 of those. And then probably my favorite of the bunch are these EVGA XC3s. Really slim cards, really nice, dense cards. These have been doing great. So these cards were mining for a long time in my Grow tent over there on an open air frame. But because they're GDDR6X memory in there, they get really hot. So I had them mining Ergo on NiceHash, getting paid out in Bitcoin for a long time. But what I've been wanting to do for months and months and months, and I'm finally getting around to it, is get these out of there in a place where they can get cool, so I don't have to replace thermal pads, and get these solo mining Firo with some of the rest of my cards just to participate more in that and gain more Firo so I can run a masternode on the Firo network. So next thing I'm going to do is get all of these slotted in here. We'll check out spacing and make sure we're going to be good. So let's do that right now. I'm going to start on this end with the bigger cards. And you can see again why I had to move those fans to the outside. I can't use the last slot. It's too tight. So I have to go 1 slot over. I'm going to slot in this MSI GPU right here. And you can see not much space left there, which is why, again, I had to move the fans over to the outside. So I'm going to get that one in there, skip a spot, and then get the next MSI card right on the other side. Got that slotted in. And let's do the Zotacs now. This is the one with the broken fan blade. Get that in. Pretty long card too. Actually, probably a little longer than the MSI, just not as tall. So we'll do the matching one to that right next to it. So got that there. And then let's go with the EVGA XC3s. Got one here. Looking good. See how much smaller those cards are. And then finally, right next to the power supply, we'll slot one in at the end. So looking good, like kind of normal spacing you would expect in a server case. Just skipping a slot in this case. Looks really good. Let me get all of these screwed down, and then I'm going to get some splitters so we can get all this wired up, and then we'll check back in. You don't have to use splitters, Mike, because it comes with 12 cables because it's made for 12 GPUs. So I have everything wired up now. You can take a look here. I didn't have to use splitters. I just used 2 strands coming from the power supply, which is the safer way to do this anyway. So everything's wired up. Everything's screwed in. MSI, Zotac, EVGA cards. Looking really good. I'm just going to power this up right now so we can hear a little bit of what it sounds like and check everything works. So we got lights on all the graphics cards, and I have the fans coming this way, so they're blowing air through the GPUs. Should keep them really nice and cool. And the one thing I'm curious about is going to be what the VRAM temps on these are going to be. We'll be able to check that out in Hive OS. So sounds good, looks good, fans are all spinning. Let's get this thing booted into Hive OS and get mining. So I made a really dumb mistake. I'm actually kind of embarrassed about it. I fried the hell out of that power supply that was in there. Let me walk you through what happened. Here's the shell of the old one. I'll show you the new one in a second. So what you'll notice on here is voltage. Voltage is rated for 180 to 260 volts, not 120 volts, which is what I had it plugged into. That's like your standard house outlet here in the United States. And it was fine while it was idle, but once I started to mine with it, circuit popped in the circuit panel and I saw a spark and the whole thing shut off and anything I had plugged into that circuit shut off. And I was going nuts trying to figure out exactly what happened until I was chatting with some people in my Discord, showed them some pictures, and they told me that I was super dumb for doing what I did. I've never run into this before. I think this is my first power supply that's like a mining specific power supply that's really got to be run on 240 volt, which is what I have it plugged into right now. I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready to go. So I got my power right here. I'm going to plug that in. It's off right now, the power supply. I'm going to turn the power supply on. 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to turn on the power on the motherboard. We got lights, fans. Things seem to be working right now. So I'm feeling good about it. All the cards are up. So let's really get this mining. I'm going to jump into Hive OS. Still a little nervous, but I think we're going to be all right. So let me jump into Hive OS and we'll check right back. Up in mining right now, we're mining Firo on the FiroPal algorithm, which is a hot algorithm, but you can already see these temperatures are not great, even in this server case. Looking at those Zotac cards, which are right in the middle, 104 degrees on the memory. Even the core is not great on all of these GPUs. I mean, it is pretty toasty down here. It's 87 degrees Fahrenheit, but still should be running much cooler. The one that I'm curious about is this EVGA card right here, 68 degrees on the core. And what I've figured out is that that card is the one right here. Let me just show you. So that card is the one right here next to this power supply. And the way this is set up right now, all of these fans are blowing air through the cards. But the power supply fan, which you can't see, it's right here, is also blowing this way. So that fan's blowing this way, this fan's blowing this way. So I think I'm getting some heat stuck in here. I can open this up and switch the fan around, but what I think I might do that'll be a little easier first is switch this fan around to blow out that way. I'm not sure if that's going to positively or negatively impact this 3070 Ti, but I'm going to try it right now. That was a bad idea. I'm in an even worse position than I was before. That GPU is now 73 degrees, when before it was 67 degrees. So I guess I got to switch it back. Fan slipped back the other way, and I'm pretty much back to where I started. I also spent some time tucking all the cables down in here, making sure that there's nothing impeding the airflow coming through these cars from these fans. But this is just running so hot. I mean, one of the things I'm up against is this power supply is getting very, very hot, and it's right next to this GPU. I just think that there's not enough airflow or spacing getting through these cards. I'm looking at the Zotac fan is not working. So that rules. Let me see if I can get it kick-started. That fan's not working. All the rest are. But, I mean, I just think this maybe isn't the way to go for these GPUs. But what I'm going to do next, just because why not? Let me switch back over here to the test bench. I still have to overclock this. And what I like to do to overclock these, I leave no lock core clock, no power limits, because they're just most efficient mining at full tilt. So 2800 on the memory, 200 on the core clock. Fans are already at 100. I'm going to save that. Let's see how hot these GPUs get. Got some overclocks dialed in. I pulled them back a little bit just because some of the GPUs were getting some errors. So 150 on the core, 2400 on the memory. And you can see these temperatures are just out of control. I looked a little closer. I'm okay with the GPU temperatures where they're at, considering the ambient temperature in this basement right now. But I'm not stoked on those VRAM temperatures, especially looking at these Zotac cards on here. And if we take a look over in the miner and TRX miner, you can see I'm doing 241 mega hash across all of these cards, little over 40 mega hash on each GPU, which I'm stoked on. This is solo mining Firo with a couple other rigs. I've been doing that for a long time. And so I wanted this to contribute to that, though it seems like that might be difficult considering some of the temperatures that you're seeing. So I'm at kind of a crossroads now. There's one thing I can do for sure, and that is replace the thermal pads on all of those cards. And the folks over at GPU Risers were kind enough to send me a whole lot of thermal pads. So I can certainly do that. I got a whole bunch of different sizes here. Links for these will be down in the description. But I'm just kind of like, is it worth my time? I have other GPUs sitting on shelves. I got 3070 full hash rate cards. So I might just decide to sell these 3070 Ti's. I'm not sure yet. I got to do some thinking on it because this has not gone the way I've hoped that it would go. The GPUs are not thermal throttling. The Zotacs are getting kind of close. So they're okay, but they're not where I want them to be. So stay tuned on the channel for what I decide to do with this rig. Maybe I'll do some thermal pad replacement videos. You can check those out. Or maybe I get rid of these GPUs. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the like button if you did. Sub to the channel for more GPU mining content. Join my Discord if you want to chat. The link's down in the description. Follow me on social media. Twitter, Instagram links are down in the description. Links for all of this stuff will be down there as well, including the MineBox 12, the GPU Risers pads, and anything else I talk about in this video. And as always, please take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.